Hello everyone, I'm Peter Gustafsson.
And I'm Johan Schepperman.
And we're so sorry we couldn't be there in London together with all of you today. The circumstances are as they are currently, so travel is simply not possible, unfortunately. Instead, we're standing at our Stockholm head office, and from here we cover the entire EMEA region in tight collaboration with our key partners.
Yeah, and to introduce ourselves a little bit, so you know who we are. We both come from H&M, where we worked a few years, and were responsible for some of the major projects when it comes to digital signage. And I was the system responsible for the global team, and traveled a lot to different countries where I met Peter in many of those.
Yes, and I spent most of my years in global expansion, meaning going into new markets or new countries. And when entering a new market or new country for the first time, it's always important to enter with a bang. We want to impress our new customers. Some of them are there in an H&M store for the very first time. So you want to open with a flagship store. And within a flagship store, there's always digital signage. And that's why I came in touch with Johan and his team.
And to tell you a little bit about SNA Display, who we represent. They've been active since 2009 in North America, Latin America, and now in the EMEA region, which we cover. And we're about 2,000 people producing 100,000 square meters a year. We have 500 certified engineers who works in our R&D division to make us stay ahead of the game. We have many international and national patents when it comes to LED, and this makes us one of the best LED manufacturers in the world.
Yes, and since we're both used to the real world, what do you say about going into the city to take a closer look at things?
Yeah, leaving the office is always good.
We're now standing in the city Stockholm center, and walking around any city center for that matter, you see digital signage being used both on the interior side and on the exterior side. SNA, of course, we have products for both of these, and we also do custom engineering, meaning that we can do any shape or form that the customer wants, and we can do this with probably the best warranties in the business. Would you agree?
I definitely agree about the warranties. So let's circle back a bit to today's topic, which is elevate your space. I think it's worth mentioning a few points about the construction, since that could be a major part of a digital signage project.
Or an exterior project.
Exterior projects especially, yes, because you don't control that space. So there's permits that you need to have and other things that you need considered which are not as great on an indoor project, for example. So it's really good to team up with a great partner that knows how to do things.
Yeah, it's really important to have a great partnerships if you're going into new markets. You know, you want that great footprint from the very beginning. That's absolutely true. So, but interesting that you mentioned all this. But how hard is it to put a TV on a wall, really?
You're right, Peter. I think I got that question a million times. It's not that hard actually when you know how to do it. But putting that TV on the wall, the biggest TV I put on a wall was 45,000 kilos. That's approximately 30 German cars that should hang on the facade. So I would say there is quite some engineering work to be done to make that a safe and good installation.
That is one big screen or one big TV, but let's call them screens from now on. So, but it's important to take pride in all products, right? I mean, we do both big and small.
Exactly. I mean, the customer satisfaction is always top of mind. But to do a mega spectacular screen like a big one like that is, of course, hard. And you won't do that as your first installation. I think you need to take pride in all ones. So you need to have done a lot of smaller ones to be able to do a big one. So taking great pride in all projects that we do.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But let's say, or circle back to one important question now. What's so beneficial using digital signage? I mean, if I were a retailer and I wanted to enhance the experience for my customers in my store, what would I need to consider, do you think?
Yeah, the easy answer is, the short answer I would say is the purpose, and then it's placement, and it's the content.
Okay, so interesting. Tell me more.
Well, there are many things to consider depending on the purpose of the screen. But the first of all, I would say it's attract and convert the passersby, and then to inform and engage with your customers, and then interacting and bridging the gap between the physical and the online environment. And not the least, it's to spread the brand awareness.
All right. So those seems to be quite important to consider, all of those. But how would great content on a screen turn passers-by into customers for me?
Well, recent studies says that it's about 5 times higher chance that a passersby is paying attention to your content when it's a moving content instead of a static vinyl that you tend to use normally. And the dwell time has increased significantly as well.
So can you please say what is dwell time?
Dwell time is the time the customer or the passersby is standing outside your store looking at your content and getting engaged with it. So if they stay longer, it's a bigger chance that they will come into your store and take a look.
Okay, so it sounds like my return on investment will be paid back quite quickly. So once I have engaged the passers-by, they're now interested in my store, they have come on the inside. How can I use digital signage to help drive sales even further?
I mean, when you have them inside, now the fun begins because you have converted them to get in, and now they are practically a customer of yours. So now you have to show them your current offerings by having screens on directly on the inside, showing them what's on for today and what's going to make them do a purchase in your store. And you can also use the screens for navigate the customers going around in your store and finding even more things to buy.
Okay, I'm starting to imagine all kinds of things that I can use digital signage for now, and starting to think of many different solutions. But what about being interactive? What can you say about that?
Well, we have the lift and learn, and we have the intelligent fitting room, and we have the automation of sale and campaigns.
That's really exciting. What can you tell me about lift and learn? How does that work?
You have sensors in the hangers, for example, that will give you the information about that garment or that product. You can have it in the shelves, so when you lift it, the sensor is triggering content for that article. And you can inform the customers more about that exact item.
So what about the intelligent fitting room? How would that work?
For example, you have the customers coming in and the RFID beacon feels that you have a pair of jeans in a large, and when the customer is fitting it on, they need another size, and you can inform them that they have it in stock in the store or they can purchase it online, for example.
And what about using AI for those automatic sales campaigns?
You have all the inventory data of what's in your stock and so on. So if you have, for example, too many white t-shirts, you can discount the price for a limited time until you reach a stock level which is more in line with what you have thought of.
And also in this fitting room, you would see other garments that would fit with your trousers or the shirt that you have brought in, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can trigger it on any given key, so to say.
And what else can you do? I'm thinking QR codes and things.
Yes, QR codes is an excellent example of how a customer can get a discount for a special product or even give away a QR code to some other non-existing customer today to become a customer. And you can engage directly with really tailored things directly to a customer because you have a lot of data of your customers if they are a member of your loyalty program or so. So make sure that you have all the GDPR and personal data in consent with your customers, that you are allowed to share them really tailored experience.
Yeah, and I'm starting to see what you were saying before, that the longer the person stays within my store, the higher the possibilities for them to become a customer.
Yeah, I think that tells you the return of investment is coming quite soon.
That's very cool and interesting. Is there something else you can tell me?
Another one is to create really engaging content that makes your customers want to take a photo together with your screens and your content and share that with their friends and tag that store.
That's really interesting, user-generated content, and overall, I mean, using online channels like social media to drive sales physically, that's a really interesting concept that you can do a lot with, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. And the reach of a campaign like that, using hashtags for your stores and for your campaign, and the friend is sharing in social media to other friends that also will become your customers. But make sure that you have some kind of filtering before you publish it in your own channels or in your store.
Yeah, you don't want that going south on you.
No, you don't. And make sure that someone is looking through the content and do it constantly.
So far we've been talking about digital signage in general, but there's always the comparison between LED and LCD. Well, can you please elaborate on that comparison a bit?
Well, Peter, there's always a good place to use an LCD, but you have the bezels, you have the lifetime, you have the brightness, you have the ease of maintenance, and of course, the LCD is a self-contained product. When it breaks, it breaks. And you have the any size and shape and form we can do with the LED. You can't do that with an LCD.
So lifetime is important if you look at it in terms of sustainability. Many want to be more sustainable, so LED would be better over LCD, I guess.
I mean, the expectancy of an LED screen is 100,000 hours until you reach 50% of the original brightness. That's quite some time.
And looking at brightness, I have a store with lots of strong store lights and, you know, the sunshine coming in. How is that better with LED?
Think about it as, for example, at your home. When the sun shines in on your TV, it's sometimes really hard to see what's on. And the same will happen in a store if you use too little brightness on the screens for your digital signage. You can't compete with the store brightness and the sun shining in from outside.
And looking at product warranty, I mean, the warranty is longer with LED than LCD, correct?
Our product warranty is best in class, I would say. And if you have 6 years of warranty on our products, that's a long time.
Well, what would that be for LCD? Is that a lot shorter?
I would say a standard warranty on an LCD is 1 to 3 years, maybe.
What about ease of maintenance? You mentioned that as well. What do you mean exactly there?
I mean, an LCD, when it breaks, and then the full screen is breaking. And an LED, you just exchange small parts of the LED board, and you can do that hot swappable. You can do it while it's still in operational.
And you would have the spare parts within the store premises as well, so it makes for easy and quick repair fixes, correct?
Exactly, Peter. I mean, spare parts for an LED is a few plastic boxes where you have the cabling and the small LED parts.
And lastly, you mentioned any shape or form. I mean, with LCD you're stuck with 16:9 or 9:16, but with LED you say you can do any shape or form. Is that true?
16:9 and 9:16 is a great format, but maybe it's not the way you want your screen. So yes, I would say we can do any size, any shape, any form.
Here in Stockholm we have one of the world's biggest hemispherical buildings. It's called the Stockholm Globe, and I would like to encapsulate that in LED. Are you telling me that would be possible to do?
That's something we could do.
If you have the time to follow me there.
Do we have a ride, or should I arrange a ride?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Guys,
thanks for the lift, guys. Okay, so here we are standing on top of the city ski hill, looking over both Stockholm city and the Stockholm Globe. Have you seen the Stockholm Globe before, Johan?
Actually, I have. It's a bold building, and I see you stole my wig here.
Yeah, sorry for that. We need it for the noise cancellation as it's quite windy here. So looking at the Stockholm Globe, as you can see, it's quite spherical, and it would be really cool if you could encapsulate that in LED, because it's a great venue. It hosts both motorsports, ice skating, ice hockey and figure skating, and also concerts and theaters and such activities. And it's directly adjacent to a big shopping center. So if I can encapsulate that whole thing in LED and promote everything going on in there, that would be really, really dramatic and visible. Would you agree?
Maybe it's a good idea. I can actually help you visualize that with little help from my friends.
Oh, you can help me visualize it right now?
Look at this.
Oh, that's really cool. I didn't know those guys could do LED as well. I'm starting to think of other ideas actually also. We were discussing a project previously, quite unique and crazy project as well. And we were talking about creating this big LED head. Is that something you could do?
That's actually something we have done already for an artist called Matthew Moore. He wanted a big LED head, and where you step in on the back side of the head, and there's a series of cameras taking your picture and projecting it on the outside on the LED boards.
So you step in, have your picture taken, step out, and then take a picture of your face on this big sculpture LED head.
That's correct. So there's 3,500 different LED boards shaped to a face, and your image will appear on those, yes.
Oh, that's really cool. I'm starting to think about other stuff as well here. It so happens I have a store in the city center, and it's a bit hidden on the back street a bit. And I am struggling with reaching the people passing by. I want them to come into my store. Is that something you can help me with as well?
I think that's one of the big advantages with LED. It's very bright and have a high light intensity. You can compete with the sunlight and everything like that. So I think that's how you convert passers-by to customers, by attracting them to your store. So let's take a look at your store and see what would be the best way to get your customers come inside.
So are you available to go back to the city center with me right now, and we could take a look?
Sure, let's do it.
Can we take a ride with your friends?
Guys, can we have a ride?
Woo! That was a great ride. Okay, so here we are now standing in front of my store. Can you tell me where it is?
It's not obvious. Maybe it's a secret store.
Obviously need some help. My entrance is right there, the glass door. So I need some digital signage here to help me make the store visible to the public here on this busy street. Is that something you could help me with?
Maybe we should visualize it, because you have a really, really good corner here that you could utilize for some really beautiful screens. Maybe we should take help from my friends again.
Absolutely, let's do it.
Okay, guys, let's do it.
Oh, that looks so much better now. Now the store is actually visible. Can you see that?
Yeah, I mean, now you see there's something going on in there, and imagine that message you could send straight out to people coming down this busy street and the crossing. You can catch them from both coming from south, east and west, I would say.
Yeah, I think people now coming down from this busy street will really take notice to the store here, and hopefully I can help, or the signage can help converting some of these passers-by to actual customers. Yeah. I don't think I can afford not to run the project now actually, so that's really helpful. Apart from this, also talking about pixel pitch. What's the rule of thumb regarding pixel pitch?
The rule of thumb is on pixel pitch, you say P10 for example. That means 10 millimeters between the pixels, and you need 10 meters and more to get the perfect picture. If you get closer, you start to see the LED dots. And so standing from here, your screen will be approximately 10 meters away. Here you could go down to maybe a 6.67 screen, P67, and that you will get higher resolution and you'll still have a great picture from over there.
So normally you would say that maybe for an outside location, like an exterior display, like in this case, you could go for a bit lower resolution, meaning higher pixel pitch, right?
I mean, if you look on top of this building, it will be perfect with a P20. You will come down quite a lot in price, but you still will have a perfect picture up there, even if you're standing down here. But you will also reach people from far getting a screen up there, and it will still be a great screen.
So look, I also have an office. What can we do there? I'm thinking about the reception area, meeting rooms, lobby, and so on.
I mean, the lobby is where you meet your customers, mainly the first time and so on. So there you need to entertain them, you need to inform them, and there's a lot of things you can do. Same goes with your meeting rooms and with your boardrooms. Maybe we should go to my showroom and have a look in there.
Do you have it close by?
Not very close, but have a quick ride.
I love that ride. Let's go.
Okay, guys.
Another great ride, Johan.
Yeah, that was a good one.
So we're now standing here in your showroom, and I must say it looks very interesting and impressive here.
Yeah, this is a good place.
By the way, is this something you want back?
Oh, there it is. Thank you. That could come in handy.
You're always welcome, sir.
Yeah. So you were talking about your office, and here we can show you quite a lot of good things that you can use your screen for, and this could be your store as well.
I agree. Digital signage is a really good tool to show content on ongoing projects, current offerings, or employee branding, company branding, but also our core values.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, you should think of your screen as your digital canvas that could show any kind of content. I mean, really any kind.
Yeah, I'm also thinking about artistic content for the psychological well-being of my employees, for example.
Yeah. And I mean, in the situation we are today, I mean, we have the pandemic going on, and you can put up restrictions that you have in your office or in your store on distance to help your customers and employees to move around more safely.
Another good point. Also, thinking out loud here a bit, but would it be possible to interrupt the current content with, for instance, an evacuation plan if there was a fire, for example?
Yeah, I'm glad you're asking, because that's a really good question. I mean, when the fire alarm goes, in some countries it's a strict requirement that you can stop the current broadcast and replace it with an evacuation plan or a fire alarm. And we have built that in directly to our hardware.
And it's fully automatic, or?
That's fully automatic. There's a signal from the fire alarm triggering the new content to start.
Oh, that's really good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, and Peter, remember to keep your content relevant and mix content, your messages with entertaining content. Otherwise, your spectators will lose the interest.
So I'm not going to run 100% campaigns.
Exactly. I mean, in your store, you need to push the sales, but you also need to mix it up with entertaining content.
And the same goes with the office, I guess.
Exactly the same thing.
Because I mean, looking at the office, the static bulletin board that we normally have is quite boring, and people are not good at reading emails anymore.
So this is a perfect place to put out your message, that of important thing. And don't forget, this is a really good thing for your after work. It could be the best place for the DJ to have a LED backdrop, or you can play some music videos on it.
That sounds really awesome. That would be great after work. But can we take a look at some of your examples from your portfolio, please?
Yeah, definitely.
Those are all very nice products, Johan. Thank you for showing us that. So, thinking about our office again and looking at the meeting rooms there, What do you say about the aspect or the all-in-one product that we talked about earlier? Would that be suitable for those kind of environments?
Definitely. I mean, that's a perfect choice when it comes to a meeting room, a boardroom, or even a lobby, or maybe even your home cinema.
That would be quite a cool home cinema, actually. I mean, I have no problem visualizing things, right? But is there any way you can help me visualize my ideas to my customers and even coworkers sometimes?
Yeah, I know the problem. Sometimes it's really hard to communicate what you're picturing and the customer is picturing. Then we have a tool on our website where you can upload your own content and your own scenarios. And from there, you build a little movie or a picture that shows exactly how it will come out. But if that's not enough, we can help you with professional renderings as well.
So thank you all for listening. I hope you found it very useful. And next year, we hope to see you live and in person instead of remotely like this.
And remember, if you need any help elevating your space or any kind of LED projects, we're here to help.
And we're happy to help. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.